we brought a gentleman from Beverly, no less. Carmen Ray, come on out.
How we doing? Welcome to Beverly, for those who are not from here. And if you're from here, you know how nice it is, right? I'm not originally from here, but I moved here several years ago because it's a really nice suburb of Boston. To be a really true suburb, you have to have a very low crime rate, and you can't have serious issues on your town agenda. Beverly epitomizes what a suburb is. Not like some of the other cities and towns around here that claim to be suburbs. In Dorchester right now, they're fighting over where to build a new prison. In Roxbury, they're arguing over a reform school. And all the debate in Revere right now is over a drug rehabilitation center. Here in Beverly, the biggest thing we have to bitch about is the building of a Whole Foods. A Whole Foods, how cute is that, huh? What the hell are the arguments like at the town hall meetings? Whole Foods? Not my neighborhood, damn it. Property values will plummet. Not a Whole Foods. It'll bring in undesirables, people from Salem, Manchester, Essex, and Gloucester. The biggest issue in this town is the building of a supermarket, which is actually shocking because if you go about a block from the theater up here, there's a dollar store. How the hell did you ever get that built in this town? There must have been blood in the streets. I thought there'd be a plaque out front that said, "To the brave men and women of Beverly who lost their lives in the great dollar store uprising of 2006. My wife loves the dollar store. She shops here all the time because I started doing this. Now we're rich. We actually are no longer welcome in the dollar store up the street here because we were in there a while back, and as soon as we got in the store, all you could smell was poop. And then we noticed in our same aisle was a very elderly woman, and she was carrying a big box of Depends undergarments. And it was sad. It was depressing. And we felt bad for her, so we scooted to the next aisle so she couldn't see us laughing in front of her. But as soon as we got in that next aisle, all you could smell was poop. And my wife said to me, she goes, "Did you step in dog shit?" I said, "No, I didn't step in," as I'm lifting my foot up looking at this greenish-brown doggy diarrhea caked into the tread of my sneaker. When you're a kid and you step in dog shit, it's hilarious. You scrape it on everything, you chase your friends with it. It's the best part of the day. When you're an adult and you step in dog shit, it's just embarrassing. So now we were briskly going up and down the rest of the aisles, and I'm dragging my poop shoe, trying to scrape it off. People are starting to think I'm having a stroke. Finally, we get up to the register aisles, except everybody in the line was looking at the back of the store. So, of course, we looked at the back of the store, and from that vantage point, you could see down all the aisles. And down the center of every aisle was an 8.5-inch brownish-green shit trail that eventually led right to where I was standing. So I looked at my wife, she looked at me, we just dropped everything we had and we ran like hell. There's no punchline for that, I apologize. Unfortunately, that's a true story. And you know it's a true story, because come on, if I had made that up, that shit trail would have been at least 11.5 inches long. I don't want you to think that Beverly's perfect, because we've had our issues. Mainly, the one that comes to mind is last summer. And I'm sure the people from Beverly here remember last summer, when the great leaders of this town got together to come up with a plan on how to replace all the water and sewer pipes in town. And with all that brain power in one room, the best plan they came up with was to dig up every single road at the same friggin' time, causing complete gridlock. People were angry and they were frustrated. But the people of Beverly are very resilient, and they almost got through it. They almost got through the whole project right up to the end when the dust was settling and 2 circular structures appeared, ironically enough, where the Whole Foods is going to be. But they appeared out of nowhere, almost like those crop circles. You remember years and years ago in the cornfields of Iowa, and everybody thought they were put there by aliens. Now, those of us who have been outside of Beverly realize those circular structures are just rotaries. But to the native Beverly citizen, you ask them, they think they were put there by aliens to test their intelligence and problem-solving skills. If you want to see something really sad, go up to Brimble Ave and watch the citizens of Beverly try and navigate through a rotary. It's like watching three monkeys fuck a football. It's embarrassing, folks. It's not brain science or rocket surgery. It's a damn circle, folks. I'm actually the last person who should be making fun of Beverly because I was actually born and raised in the city of Lynn. Yay. It was funny, I was doing a show in Millbury, Mass. That's out by Worcester last month. And as soon as I said I was from Lynn, almost as if it was choreographed, the entire audience recited back to me that famous Lynn saying. Do you guys know it? Lynn, Lynn, the city of sin. See, you know it. And everybody loves that, but it's not a compliment. A guy in the front row goes like this, he goes, Lynn's the city of first. We built the first jet engine. And I said, yeah, you're right, sir, it is a city of first. It's also the first place that somebody on the show Cops got shot. Think about that. The show Cops used to go to major cities to film, and when they went to Boston, they couldn't find enough crime. So guess where they went? Lynn. And usually my neighborhood. Right? My neighborhood when I was little was so bad growing up, you couldn't even go outside and play. I used to just stay inside with my mom and watch TV. I even remember our favorite shows, Wheel of Fortune. That show's still on today. If you haven't seen Wheel of Fortune lately, Vanna White still looks damn hot for 92. The show's completely different now, though, folks. I don't know when Wheel of Fortune started giving away cars, trips, boats, and thousands of dollars. When I was that little kid on welfare in the projects of Lynn, watching that show with my mom, the most money you could make on Wheel of Fortune was like $80. And they didn't even get to keep the money. They plucked the winner's head off somehow and floated it over what looked like a Building 19 flea market, and they had to spend it on that crap then. I love that show. I loved the show back then because it gave me hope. And it gave me hope because it made me feel smart. And I knew I was super smart because I guessed all the puzzles before the actual contestants did. And I told my mother, we're gonna get off welfare. We're gonna get out of the projects, and I'm gonna make something big of myself using my superior intelligence. And then Jeopardy would come on. As bad as the neighborhood was, wasn't a total loss. There was always one thing I always looked forward to, and that was every summer the Lynn Housing Authority would send a bus to pick us welfare kids up and bring us into Boston to see a Red Sox game. It was always the same routine. I was the last one on the bus. I was the only white kid. None of the regular kids wanted to sit with me, so they always had me way in the back seat of that bus, you know, that long seat in the back with this pudgy black kid who was extremely slow. We looked like Forrest and Bubba when they were heading to the Army. We get into Boston, meet up with all these other kids who were busing in from all over, all these welfare kids, and we'd head into Fenway Park. And you know what? It was always great to go to the games, but I gotta be honest with you, every year we went, we had the absolute worst seats in the park. Shittiest seats every year. The final year we went, I finally built up the courage to ask the chaperone. I said, sir, these seats suck. Well, why do we always have to sit in the absolute worst seats? And that's when he explained to me what Section 8 was for. As I started getting older in that neighborhood, I realized I had two choices. Join a gang or join the military. You could probably tell by my overwhelming physical presence, option A was off the table. I never planned on being a 130-pound person, but when you got gunfire and gangs outside your front door, every day growing up, you build up a lot of anxiety. I had the same nervous system as that little rat dog Paris Hilton has that just shivers and shits in her purse all day. I went with option B. I joined the military, and I will never forget the first day. The United States Air Force showed up, and they plucked me out of that hellhole in Lynn, Massachusetts. Those sons of bitches dropped me in Minot, effing North Dakota. 90-mile-an-hour winds, 50 below zero, nothing but snow and ice. When I got off the plane, the only thing I saw was a penguin blowing a polar bear and 3 women with 9 teeth between them that would marry you right then if it gave them a chance to get out of that godforsaken state. The Air Force gave me a chance to travel, though. I've been all around the globe. I've been all around these United States. I've had a very large and diverse sample of the human beings on this planet, and I learned something very important. They all suck. People suck, folks, all right? Obviously, some a lot more than others, okay? Nobody here is going to go home and turn the news on tonight and shed a tear if they see that Justin Bieber's little private pot plane crashed into Kim Kardashian's fat ass, hopefully careening into that tongue-wagging, buck-toothed Miley Cyrus. What the hell could Kanye West ever say if Kim Kardashian ever went up to him and said, honey, do these jeans make my ass look fat? Poor bastard. Regular people suck too. Recently I was in McDonald's. I figured it'd be quick. I get in there, I'm behind a wall of a woman about 400 pounds looking at the menu like she'd never seen it before. Lady, it's the same shit they had when Captain Crunch was a private. That must have pissed her off, though, because she spun around and she looked mad and she said to me real, she goes, it must be nice to be able to eat everything you want. And I looked down at what I assumed was her 3 or 4-year-old son, pushing 3 bills himself already. I said, lady, maybe that's the point. You're not supposed to friggin' eat everything you want. People suck. I ended up leaving the Air Force, and I came back here to Massachusetts to pursue my dream. Not this. I like comedy, but I love the game of pool. I wanted to be a professional pool player. And I was really good. And I was very serious, and people knew I was a serious pool player. Now, I know everybody in here at some point has probably played a game of pool or hit a pool ball or thrown the balls around the table. There's a difference, and you could tell, because when a serious pool player sees a nice, hard, tight, firm rack, they get a little excited, a little flustered. A rack so beautiful, you're fumbling to get your stick out. Clean the shaft and get your tip ready. A rack so phenomenal, all you can think to yourself is, damn, I can't wait to hit that. Because you know she's gonna spread nice for you. Something's definitely going in. You may not know that person you're playing around with that night, though. You may not know them very well. You may want to play it safe. Maybe even wear a glove. Serious player, though, sees her laid out that easy, they're just gonna keep stroking. And believe you me, they're gonna use every hole. Let me just warn the ladies, you ever get a chance with this player, the whole experience is probably only gonna last a couple minutes. I tried that for a number of years. Before I knew it, I was getting older. I got married, I had a kid. I love being a parent, but I'm super competitive, and I thought I was doing a kick-ass job as a dad until a friend of mine from Marblehead called last summer, bragging about how his 11-year-old had made it to the finals of the National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C., and that it was going to be televised on ESPN. So I felt obligated to watch, which I'm so glad I did, because his kid sucked. It got knocked right out. But I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't turn it off because there was a little 6-year-old in the competition named Akash. And little Akash knew everything about anything, everywhere. He was amazing. They couldn't stump little Akash if they made the shit up. It was like, Akash, your word is for flurler.
For flurler. Is that a green algae that grows in the coral reef on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea and acts as a food source for yet undiscovered sea creatures?
Yes, it is.
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
Sure. How the fuck does a 6-year-old know what flurler is?
For flurler. M-A-S-27 hashtag colon open parentheses 92BM.
That's correct. He was amazing, folks. He was unbelievable. 6 years old. 6. And now I'm looking at the other end of my couch at my 11-year-old, who can't peel his own orange, let alone spell it, and I'm questioning my parenting abilities. we're going to get you to your main attraction here in just a minute. I just wanted to share one thing that happened tonight when I got here. I came early. I had to do a sound check and stuff, and a nice young man was nice enough to show me around the theater, and eventually we ended up out at the lobby, and he goes, Mr. Ray, this is your station. And it was just a table and a chair with my name on it, and I said, station? I go, what's that for? And he goes, well, all the comedians, they sign and sell their CDs after the show. And I said, I know that. I said, I want to make sure you know your job. I didn't have a clue we were doing that. So, luckily, I do live right around the corner, and I was able to run home. So, if anybody's interested in buying one of my CDs after the show, I only had time to grab a couple. I have Bruno Mars and AC/DC. So much fun to be able to do this in my hometown. I appreciate everybody coming out, so thank you very much.